Hello and welcome to this walkthrough of our earth-sheltered home. Still very much under construction. I'll show you the current status, take a look at the Earth 2 performance, and give you a little walkabout. Mostly we focused on what is needed for the partial occupancy permit, so things like stone facing over these cinder blocks, landscaping, etc., that'll have to wait. This is the south side. Most recently we got that scratch coat stucco up on the roof. I'll be working on installing the archtop windows in those vault ends very soon. Off to the right end here is the bedroom wing. It really needs some landscaping, but not quite yet. For now I'll settle for cool and dry. Okay, let's go inside. My wife actually likes that squeak. No one's sneaking in here. We've recently been doing a lot of painting in here, so excuse the ladders and scaffolding. This is our entry room that will sort of work like an airlock for the house. It's the only room whose electrical is not yet hooked up. I wish I had a wide-angle lens on this camera. This is the living room. It's a mess right now because I've been using it to cut up insulation for the roof. These concrete ribs were made on site for about a few $100s each, but each one can hold up to about 10 times more than the load that will be placed on them, which is pretty high considering it's a concrete roof with an earth load. I'll link to the video about those up in the top right. The kitchen and dining room are on this side. My office apps is through this door. Hard to see with this camera. Let's go back out through the dining room. All recently painted, but just the first coat. Let's cut through the rotunda. And then into this little area here. The walls in here are relatively new and they frame out the guest room door and the guest bathroom. Going into the guest bathroom. That hole in the floor is for the zero entry shower drain. You can see the rough plumbing for the toilet, the ceiling fan box there. The sink goes in this corner. The light goes up there. All this work is just waiting for the fall rains to keep me inside a little bit. The guest bath has a second door through to the guest room. You can see we started framing out this wall. The playroom is on the other side. So these floor ducts are sort of working. Let's take a closer look. It's 90 degrees outside, but these are blowing at about 70 degrees. Okay, let's go back to this new little section. And to the right here, we'll eventually have a spiral staircase that goes up to the second level. But for now, it's just a ladder. And a little built-in closet on the right there as well. You can see the lights that will go up in it eventually. Let's go up. We call this the mezzanine level. It'll be like a painting studio or something like that. A little stucco artwork built right into the wall. We have these portal windows. They let light and air move through the house. Look down into the rotunda and up into the ceiling grate. Let's go up another level. And you can see Sherry has been painting the storm room a darker color. I don't think my camera is capturing it properly. It's like a dark blue. The skylights. Let the light shine down through the grate. The idea in here is to be able to watch the storms roll by with 360-degree views. Out the window, you can see we are insulating the outside of the concrete roof. Those treated wood furring strips give us something just to attach to. The rest of the roof already has its first layer of vinyl waterproofing. These other vaults on this side have lath and scratch stucco on them already. A few more steps up here. After we finish the stucco work, we'll add another pond liner as waterproofing. That'll be put up here and glued down, and then soil and plants over that. These last two vaults were completed first, and they already have their final stucco coats, but not the final rubber yet. That's the garage hill off in the distance. And the view to the north, we don't own that marsh, but no one can build on it, so it'll keep that view. And to the west, those are our woods, and there's also a 1 acre pond in there. We might open up some of those trees so you can see the water better. Looking down through the floor grate. And looking up at the skylights. We plan to use cedar boards on the ceiling. We gotta add trim, etc., but all that can wait. Okay, back downstairs. From the tower, we head northwest into the playroom. The guest bath and bedroom are on the other side of that wall to the left, and the backyard is out this way. You can see the big boulder retaining wall, a little more stucco art, and that alabaster garage sale light will go up in this app space. Turning around and you can see that the playroom consists of 3 vault sections, or 90 degrees of the sector of this circle. We're kind of walking through a future wall here that will go in to separate the playroom from the living room. These conduit coming out over here will carry power and lighting into the dividing wall. Oh yeah, we did hook up some of the lights in the playroom. Let's turn those on. There'll be 3 more on each side wall, plus a separate switch for twinkle lights up in the vaults. We also have lights in this rotunda that I could show. Okay, let's head to the bedrooms. Since the last walkthrough, I've added these closets along the north side of the hall. They're about 2 foot deep, floor to ceiling. I'll eventually make a maple face frame on these and have a pair of double doors per section. The closets serve double duty and form walls that separate out the back rooms. This first room is the boys' bathroom. The shower is in, but we still need to install the cabinet, other fixtures, and flooring. The next room over is the laundry room. It also has a small mechanical room in the back with its own water heater, etc. That whiteboard is to mount the radiant heating equipment for this part of the house. At the end of the hall is the master bedroom. These are all concrete vaults above us, plus several feet of earth. The vents work in here also. Nice cool air. And backing up a bit so you can see that closet wall that separates out the master bathroom. The purple pink is insulation. I have about 8 inches around the tub and at least 2 inches along that wall. We haven't done anything in here since the weather got nice enough to work outside, but we'll eventually get back to it. Back down the hall, and on the left side, on the south side, are the bedrooms. So this is one of the boys' rooms with its closet framed out. Let's take a look at that vent. I keep showing the vents because I'm still pretty excited about the free air conditioning, but this ribbon isn't really doing the airflow rate justice. The laundry room with its laundry pass-through is just across the hall, and if we turn back we can note that the temperature in here is just above 70 degrees, even though it's about 89 outside. Oh yeah, the lights were new so I was showing them off, but you don't really need them during the day because of all the skylights. Another bedroom, the kids sometimes hang out in these, do their homework, play chess, etc. They're a bit lived in. Secret passages and trapdoors. Cutting right back across the middle of the house. This is eventually going to be the mudroom, but for now we mix stucco in here. And then we pass through into the Quonset hut garage. It's a bit chaotic in here. We're still under construction, but that big ring is for the hobbit hole door frame. It's a nice space with its own bathroom. Okay, let's head down to the basement. Mechanical room first. Here's where the earth tubes enter the house. The main difference since the last walkthrough video is that I've hooked up some fans and added a dehumidifier. I just don't yet have all the ducts hooked up between these things. Note that each 70-watt fan has its own temperature and humidity probe hooked up to a little readout. 66 is the temperature in the mechanical room itself, and 78% humidity. Its probe is just hanging out right here. 64 is the temperature of the larger earth tube air. Its sensor probe is just a few feet down the tube upstream of the fan. 70 is the temp of the air going out to the rest of the house right now, to the bedrooms, etc. Its probe is up in that box. It's a bit warmer than the air in this room because the dehumidifier adds some heat. The air coming in through this smaller earth tube is 60 degrees. The smaller tubes tend to run a bit cooler than the larger ones, usually 2 to 4 degrees, because the air moves through slower and it has more contact with the earth. This clear duct is the air intake for the dehumidifier. The dehumidifier turns on when the humidity goes above 70%. You can see that at the moment, the temporary ducting goes up through the dehumidifier unit, out the top, and then it's split in two directions. You can also see a little bit of the coil that I used to modify the unit a bit to water cool it. Condensate comes out this tube and drips down, several gallons per hour, into this condensate pump. When the condensate tank gets full, it pumps it out through this little tube, up, 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 and into the end of that copper coil. Then it flows through the unit, around the compressor, around and around and around, and absorbs the heat, spiraling downward until it exits down here. And then it goes through this tube, and then down and out, and it drains out through this perforated earth tube. Something like several gallons per hour on a humid day. And you can see this temperature's dropped a degree. Just cool down just a little bit more. Anyway, that's my rough setup for now. I'll do a more detailed video on the earth tubes another time, and I'll link it up in this corner. Let's go out and take a quick look at the rest of the basement. We haven't done very much down here, but the kids set it up for ping pong and hanging out. It's nice and cool. Lots of storage space for now. That's my styro shredder. I use these polystyrene beads to make EPS-crete. That's lightweight insulating concrete. That's another video. Quad deck ceiling. We've had lots of storms recently, but everything still seems nice and dry down here. This room is primarily storage. You can see boxes of bottles from my bottle wall. Other stuff in here. Okay, let's head up. Up the stairs. You can see that the mudroom connects to the garage with the kitchen on my left. So you can easily bring in groceries, drop off your boots in the mudroom, and head into the kitchen. Guests can also enter through here from the garage direct across the mudroom into the guest room. Let's head out the back door. It's about 89 degrees out here, and it has been for a while. This is the north side of the house. My big heavy block wall. Backing up. Sorry about the cracked camera lens. The light at this angle really messes with it. All that stone is scattered on the ground because I was working on the masonry for the chimney, and that's how I pick which blocks to use. And that's the garage. Our nice curvy road was in a Chevy Volt commercial a few years back. And then we head west and down the hill about 250 feet. The soil around here is sandy loam. Eventually we'll try to add or enrich the topsoil like a lot of our neighbors have done. But for now, I just want to show you where the earth tubes start. Still very much under construction is our dust settling box. Its purpose is to let the air in and then slow it down so it can drop its dust and pollen before the earth tubes suck the air up the hill again. We'll put in air filters and screens and all kinds of things in here just to keep it all out of the house. For now, we just keep this lath over the hole so at least the critters can't get in. This 8-inch N12 double wall pipe is sucking air in at about 800 to 1,000 feet per minute, which I've measured many times. Today I'm just using a ribbon. That is about 300 cubic feet per minute and will give me about a half an air change per hour in the main house, just by itself. So the house could exceed ventilation code with just this one intake. I also have a second fan, same size, running on the other end of this smaller pipe. But due to the size and corrugations of this pipe, the back pressure is much higher, and I only get about half the flow speed, which over the smaller cross section means only about 80 CFM, like a third of the flow rate, or 0.15 air changes per hour from this pipe. So big smooth pipe, low back pressure, small bumpy pipe, high back pressure. Big smooth pipe, high flow rate, small bumpy pipe, low flow rate. Only about 1/3 in volume of the larger pipe. Keep in mind that they each have the same size fan hooked up to them. Counterintuitively, things get much better for the smaller tube when I split the one fan over the two small tubes. But that will wait for the earth tube video, special focus on these. Link up here when it's ready. I'll need to add a roof and a door to this, earth shelter it, make it look like a hobbit hole. You can see how it all looks now by checking us out on Facebook. Links down below. Put the lath back over the holes. Backing up, you can see the house off in the distance. Sort of see it anyway. Let's end with a quick walk around. Up the hill. Lots of oak trees growing up in this field. Walking across the front of the house here. Past the bedrooms. That's the end of the master bedroom. It has the best view. Let's walk up the hill to the top of the bedrooms. Over here you can see the roof that we're still insulating and waterproofing. Going around the south side, you can see Sherry's stucco scratch work. I'll climb down here and get a better view. Soil will spill around these radial vaults like bedroom dormers, but some of the stucco will still be exposed, so that's why we have the stucco. A giant chicken sandwich on this vinyl. Maybe we can get Subway as a sponsor. My recent chimney masonry. Over here you can see Sherry's brown coat stucco. When I get a chance, we can now waterproof this area. I'll need to pick up some scrap carpet first. Down there is already waterproofed with rubber, and the carpet is already there to protect it. Let's go around back to get down there. Here in this little section over that Playroom apps, you can see how the pond liner gets attached. You see it's sealed up and over all the way around. And eventually the water's directed off the roof toward French drains and things that take care of it. We'll fill this in with nice soil and some holly bushes or other things like that later. This whole area over here above the guest room is the same, with rubber, etc., over insulation, but all you can see is the carpet over the top that protects the rubber. Eventually, when we get a big excavator in here, we'll put soil right over this. And we go around the circle to the left. Look at some of this final stucco ready to paint. I'll also need to put in the arch windows. We'll start that in early September. Like and subscribe to follow along as we finish this crazy project.